So Microsoft is basically taking all those separate AI features and merging them into one giant package.
It looks like a massive corporate streamlining, but I'm already wondering where all the hidden functionality is going to end up.
Welcome back, I'm Bella.
And I'm Michael. This show's scripted and produced with AI, built by Alibaba, pulling today's stories straight from blog.tahababa.com.
If you want these landing in your feed most days, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get into it. So Microsoft is retiring 4 major Copilot features, including group chats and AI podcasts, in August. It sounds like a massive streamlining of the ecosystem.
It is a consolidation, Bella. They are merging those separate work and personal applications into one single platform. It's a strategic pivot toward unified workflows, shedding some of the more experimental tools.
That makes sense from a development perspective. But how will this actually play out for the end user or the businesses that rely on these features?
The real question is whether that unified app will drive adoption or create functionality gaps. For enterprise users, the focus shifts from specialized tools like deep research to core productivity.
I wonder if moving everything into one place will simplify things or just bury some of the advanced capabilities we used to have.
It depends entirely on how well they manage the transition. If the unified platform is truly seamless, it will streamline operations. If it's clunky, it will just create new friction points.
So Apple just trained its own AI models specifically for China, working with Alibaba. That sounds like a huge shift in how they handle regional AI development.
It is a significant move, Bella. It really underscores the importance of data sovereignty and regulatory compliance when operating in highly sensitive markets like China.
It makes you wonder about the bigger picture. If this is happening now, how might this force other tech giants to completely rethink their strategies for localized AI infrastructure?
Exactly. This move suggests that region-specific AI infrastructure is no longer optional for multinational corporations. It's becoming a necessity for market access and compliance.
It's fascinating how quickly these geopolitical considerations are bleeding into the technical architecture of the devices we use every day.
It certainly does. It shows that the battle for AI dominance is rapidly evolving from pure technological capability to mastering regional regulatory landscapes.
So OpenAI is suggesting that startups can save serious money by using smaller models to handle longer inference chains. It sounds like a fascinating shift in how we approach building AI applications.
It's a clear pivot from pure scale to optimization, which makes sense from a pure engineering standpoint. They are essentially saying that prioritizing depth over massive size can democratize access to high-performance AI.
That democratization is the interesting part. But if they are letting smaller models do the heavy lifting, what are the practical trade-offs engineering teams will have to manage when moving this to production?
That's the million-dollar question. The trade-off usually involves complexity and latency. Teams will need to accept potentially longer processing times or more intricate prompting to achieve the desired depth.
So it's a choice between cost reduction and efficiency, knowing that longer chains might introduce latency. It sounds like the optimization process itself requires careful balancing.
Exactly. It's less about making the model bigger and more about mastering the inference strategy. It forces teams to be much more deliberate about what level of reasoning they are actually requiring.
So OpenAI released an internal report suggesting that heavy ChatGPT use doesn't actually correlate with higher revenue per employee. That's a bit of a curveball.
It certainly is. It throws a wrench into the prevailing narrative that AI adoption is a direct shortcut to productivity gains for the bottom line.
It makes you wonder if we've just overestimated the near-term impact of these tools, or if the metrics we are using to measure success are fundamentally flawed.
Exactly. If the correlation isn't significant, it forces a reevaluation of how companies are justifying their massive AI investments right now.
It sounds like the real challenge isn't the AI itself, but figuring out what we should actually be measuring when we look at its impact on the business. So Grok 4.6 isn't just a standard model update. It sounds like they've focused heavily on making it an actual agent capable of doing complex work.
Exactly. The real shift here is the ability to test its own work and iteratively refine solutions, mimicking a developer's workflow. It moves past just generating text to actual execution.
That self-correction aspect is fascinating. If it can identify problems and refine code on its own, how does that impact the speed of turning a vague idea into a functional application?
It positions it as a tool for turning abstract product ideas into concrete applications. It highlights the rapid convergence between the core model and agentic systems.
I wonder how soon that self-refinement capability becomes standard for all AI tools in the industry.
That's the million-dollar question. It really underscores how fast the field is moving toward agentic tools being table stakes, not just features.
Wow, 14 times faster inference speeds sounds genuinely revolutionary. It's not just a speed bump, it sounds like a fundamental shift in what AI agents can actually accomplish.
It certainly sounds like a bottleneck bypass, Bella. Packing those model weights into on-chip SRAM and using Cerebra's hardware is the kind of extreme engineering required to make real-time interaction feasible.
And the application of that speed is wild. Real-time incident response and financial research. It changes the conversation from theoretical models to mission-critical infrastructure very quickly.
Exactly. The benchmark result, solving 25 zero questions in under 11 hours, shows the immediate practical value. The real question now is how quickly industry will adopt these real-time capabilities.
I wonder which sectors will feel this transformation first. Will it be emergency services or high-frequency trading, or something else entirely? So we're talking about OpenAI, and their chief revenue officer, Denise Dresser, has left after just 9 months, following several other executive departures.
It's a pretty rapid turnover, isn't it? When you see that many high-level exits, especially around foundational roles, it certainly suggests some underlying instability.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if this frequency of change reflects something more about the company's strategic direction than just typical growth hiccups.
It certainly does. In an AI landscape where trust and reliability are paramount, executive churn raises serious questions about long-term execution.
I think that's the core issue. If leadership keeps shifting, how much confidence can we really place in their ability to maintain a consistent, long-term strategy? So SpaceX AI is open sourcing the code for you timeline ranking and filtering. That sounds like a massive step toward transparency.
It certainly is, Bella. Releasing the ranking and filtering code, plus that new under-the-hood dashboard for visibility labels, puts them directly in the crosshairs of algorithmic scrutiny.
Exactly. In an era where explainability is so important, do you think this move will fundamentally change what users expect from an AI system?
I suspect it will. If users can see the mechanics behind the sorting, the expectation for how algorithms operate is going to rise significantly, which naturally pushes for stricter regulatory requirements.
That makes sense. It shifts the burden onto the companies to justify their filtering choices, rather than keeping the mechanisms hidden.
Precisely. It sets a potential new standard for AI governance, forcing a conversation about how visibility limits impact the user experience and legal compliance.
And we're going to jump into our final rapid-fire round before we sign off.
Let's go. Google's Gemini now lets users toggle off the visible watermark while preserving invisible data.
Harmonic's CEO argues that human peer review is insufficient for mathematical superintelligence.
Google has launched Gemini 3.7 Flash with a 50% price reduction.
DeepSeek has open-sourced DeepSeek Harness v0.1 as an alternative to Claude Code.
Microsoft's MyCode 1.1 Flash is outperformed by DeepSeek on both price and performance.
Trajectory Labs' Nematron surpasses Opus 4.6 in performance benchmarks.
Criminals have moved AI out of testing phases and into daily operational use.
Anthropic's AI watermarking system fails in real developer workflows.
Top enterprise users deploy 8x more AI tokens than typical firms.
Finally, AMD launched its Ryzen AI Zone 100 processor series to challenge NVIDIA's embedded robotics platforms.
That's today's show, scripted and produced with AI by Alibaba.
You can read the full write-up anytime at blog.tehababa.com. And if you want these landing in your feed most days, hit subscribe.
See you next time.